All right, so just going into it, I'm going to be spoiling some parts of The Gorge, especially because overall, I didn't really like this movie. My buddies came over and we were excited to kind of sit here and kind of roast like this B movie with Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy, who play, opposite this gorge, and they fall in love, but they have to stop what's in the gorge from coming out. Monsters? Question mark. Well, you don't have to sit on it for too long. It's like follows that old cliche where like within the first 30 minutes you get to see what's coming out of the gorge, which is all right. The first 30 minutes of the movie essentially establish Anya Taylor-Joy as a sniper for like Lithuania, and she gets caught by a drone after committing like a strike or like shooting someone. So she ends up having to do like a penance tour on this tower. He is a Marine sniper with PTSD, and so Miles Teller has to do like a penance tour. And so they're set up across the gorge. You're not supposed to talk to each other, but wouldn't you know it? Gosh darn it, these two kids, don't they just fall in love? So you get a couple like awkward like sequences between them. Like the movie does like this, it's like her birthday and they're like, we're both good snipers. And it's kind of like a weird meet cute kind of thing. And when the Hollow Men attack, it's just treated as like, all right, well, next scene. He doesn't radio it in. There's no sequence of him telling like his bosses that he just got attacked by Hollow Men, which are like these cordyceps style, like plant monsters. Like plant monsters is really what they are. They look like rejects from an Pirates of the Caribbean movie, to be honest. So these plant monster men like scale the wall. They have all their perimeter defenses. It all goes to shit. So he never radios in like this problem as he's fixing it. There's like this weird sci-fi futuristic drone thing that comes out, and I thought it was aliens. Turns out it belongs to the company he works for, but nobody knew that. I didn't know that watching it, so I thought it was like aliens. I'm like, he's definitely got to call this in, but we never get a scene of him calling it in. So months go by of him and Anya Taylor-Joy falling in love, and he finds a way to go over there to spend time with her because she announced that like Valentine's Day was going to be tough for her. Her father said he was going to, instead of dying of cancer, take his own life on Valentine's Day. And she's like, I wish you were here. So he develops a way for them to hang out, rocket propelled grenades, a cable across it. But getting them to that point, the movie just really, I don't think they do a very good job establishing them falling in love. I think it's because you like Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy. And the movie is ridiculous. There's a part where they're playing chess because remember she was in Queen's Gambit, and then they build drum sets because remember he was in Whiplash. Like it's just dumb little stuff like that. And then when he is on his way back, because he goes over to spend the night, and it is by far the least sexiest scene you've ever seen. As to the point, it's like, why even include it? There's nothing sexy about it. Why even have it in your movie? So the cable snaps because the other side of these things gets attacked, and he falls into the gorge where they find out this whole place was a secret bioweapons facility, a la like a Resident Evil kind of thing. It's covered in fog, so it's evoking a little Silent Hill. The creatures are a mixture of man and plant, which evokes a little bit of The Last of Us. So it's just there's nothing really original about it. They find out that the company they're working for has maintained their lab down there to try and create super soldiers, which is just Umbrella Corporation 101. So they are like, well, how do we blow this thing up? We got to stop this. We got to do this. We got to do that. And it's just action sequences stacked on top of each other at the end, one of which feels like right out of like Uncharted. So I guess this really just took inspiration from a bunch of video games is what it sounds like to me, or at least reminded me of a bunch of video game sequences. It's 2 hours long, which is way too long. Like I said, I don't think they put enough legwork into making you really care about the characters. They kind of take a shortcut by casting actors that you like. The monsters are boring and you've already seen them in other things. The villains' motivations are just generic. The ending is straight out of, it is a ripoff of The Dark Knight Rises, to the point where my buddy Lance was like, are they going to meet in a cafe in France? And sure enough, it's like she turns around and there he is. At first I thought maybe she's imagining, but no, the movie's not that clever. Not that invested in it. Action sequences are pathetic. They don't really do anything kind of cool. The coolest part is the initial siege of their bases, and it never even comes close to anything that remotely visually interesting again. It's kind of hard. I don't recommend it, but my time's been wasted on worse projects. It's just such a shame because it could have been so much more, and that's always going to be the problem with like monster movies, right? There's always that potential. You're always going to have an idea of it kind of going into it, like in your own mind. You see these two, and it's kind of billed as like a romance set around monsters, so you're kind of kind of looking forward to that, but you don't really get it. And so for 2 hours, I just feel like wildly missed opportunities. It really feels like somebody wanted to make a video game, but they're like, no, but we'll make it into a movie instead. It would have worked as a video game. It's paced and structured like a video game, and clearly takes what I think is a lot of the legwork from games that came before it. But mediocre movie, don't really recommend it. But hey, if you got 2 hours and you feel like meh, go for it. Anyways, till next time.